Hey guys, Kalila here, and welcome to the KopyKali Knitting Podcast. This is episode number 11, which is so exciting. Oh my gosh. First of all, I feel so great, so awesome, because I got my nails done, okay? I touched up my roots, so my roots aren't dark anymore, you know? I got my lashes done, blink, blink. And also, I'm going to be in Sweden in 2 days. Like, everything is just so great this week. It's so awesome. I feel amazing, okay? And anytime someone asks me how I can knit with nails, I always have to say, when I learned how to knit, I had long nails. So now I'm just used to it, even when I don't have nails. When I do have nails, I knit as if I have nails, even when I don't have nails. So it's just like, that's just how I learned. Anyway, that's not even important to this episode. This episode is not going to be as long as it usually is. Sometimes I say that and it ends up being like an hour long, but I don't have much to talk about project-wise in this video. I'm more so going to be talking about my future projects, but that will be toward the end, of course, or toward the middle-ish, whatever. Because a lot of my whips are just kind of long-standing whips because I just wanted to cast them on just to have them on the needles and not because I wanted to like hurry up and finish them. So most of the things that you saw as whips last time are most likely still whips. And one future project that was a future project in my last episode is now a finished project in this episode. And what else is new? I have a new test knit that I am working on. 2 new test knits, but one of them, the yarn hasn't come in yet, so I haven't started working on it yet, obviously. But yeah, so currently have 3 test knits going on. It's awesome. Alrighty, first, let me talk about Sweden, and then I'll talk about, actually, let me talk about this first. So, exciting news. One of the test knits that I was test knitting for, which is the Birch Sweater by Ulen Knitwear, is now out. It has been released, okay? This beautiful turtleneck sweater here with this folded cuff and split hem. Hello, a split hem. I have been binge watching, I binge watched Laura from Penrose Knits. I binge watched her videos, and she always talks about a split hem and how it's just so nice in like oversized projects and everything because it lays flat. Because you know when you have things that are oversized, sometimes it can like ride up or like look poofy, I guess, on the sides, and the split hem just like fixes all of that. And I'm just like, every time she talks about it, I'm just like, yes, you're right. You're absolutely right. But this beautiful sweater here, it is a nice oversized turtleneck sweater. Yes, we are getting into summer, but who cares? Okay, I am so over knitting for spring and summer. I feel like I barely started. I knitted what? 1 tee. I have another tee on the needles, and I think that's about it for my spring and summer knitting because I am just a sweater gal, okay? Like, I need the sweaters, I need the socks, I need the hats, all right? I cannot just sit and knit camisoles and t-shirts and knit with cotton yarns and silk yarns. No, I need my wools, okay? This sweater is knit with British wool from Woolly Knit, the cone, and also paired with Drops mohair. If you go to ulenknitwear.com, I will link it down below, and get the pattern. If you put in the code Kalila, my full name, in caps, you'll get 15% off that pattern. No, I don't get any compensation or anything for it, okay? It's just a friend doing a good deed, which is awesome, and you guys benefit, all right? So use that code, get that sweater, and enjoy a beautiful pattern, okay? Because It is very oversized, so it can be a long-term knit that you just knit over the course of a couple months or so. I knit mine in 2 weeks, but don't do that. You know, preserve your wrists. All right. If you're just a fast knitter in general, then yeah, sure. I think I'm just a fast knitter, and it just so happens that I knit it in 2 weeks. But it is an amazing knit. I enjoyed the entire process. Okay, like I feel like even though I knit quickly, it doesn't feel rushed, and I still enjoy the process because I'm a process knitter over a finished object knitter. So anytime I'm knitting, I'm just like, oh my gosh, the yarn, oh my gosh, the knitting, and I'm just like so excited. Yeah, anyway, so code Kalila for 15% off the pattern. The link is down below in the description, so go and get it. Okay, support Maria, because listen, all right, this is not going to be the end of me talking about her, okay, because I'm testing another sweater for her. And it is nice, let me tell you. Okay, all right. When I get the yarn and stuff, I'll talk more about it. I don't have anything for it today, so I won't talk about it, but I will most likely in my next podcast. Yeah, because my next videos will be, what a great segue into the next topic, which is Sweden. I am going to Sweden with my sisters. Again, if you guys were here last year September, for my birthday, Malika, Kahila, and I went to Sweden to visit Alexandra and celebrate my birthday there with her, and it was amazing. We did so much. We visited so many yarn stores. You can probably find my yarn haul. I will link it as well so that you can see it. But oh, we got so much yarn, and it was just an amazing time. So we virtually went there, we went there to spend time with Alex and to also visit all the yarn shops, get all the yarns that aren't available here in the States, and it was a good time. This time, we're going back to Sweden, of course, to visit Alex, but also because we want to celebrate Midsummer with her, okay? Midsummer is basically a celebration of the summer solstice in Sweden, and you just eat good food, dance like crazy, make flower crowns, have a good time, okay? And so that's exactly what we're going to do. Of course, we'll visit some yarn shops, but there aren't many yarns that I care to get, especially since I'm mainly knitting from my stash now, because I feel like I have a sizable stash where I don't need to go out and buy more yarn. And even though a lot of things are tempting, I have bought some yarn. The first yarn I bought this year was for my testknit, for my Magdalena sweater, and then I just recently bought yarn from Camellia Fiber Co., the Rainbow Sprinkles, because she only comes out with it during Pride Month, okay? So once a year, and I had to get it because Aro from Aro Knits and Pearls always talks about it, and I was just like, I'm not missing it this year, okay? So I got that. Other than that, I haven't bought any yarn this year, and I kind of want to stick to limiting my spending of yarn because I feel good about my stash, and I feel like I have many sweater quantities, and I think I can knit many things that I want from it, which I plan to as well. The only sweater quantities I'm gonna get are for one sweater that I plan to do in Sweden, another sweater I just need more yarn for, and that's it. So 2 sweater quantities, and that's about it. Anyway, let's get started with this podcast. I feel like I haven't even started, and I've already been talking for almost 10 minutes. Okay, all right. So let's start with what I'm wearing. Okay, I am wearing my April cardigan. This is the April cardigan by PetiteKnit. It is so nice. Okay, this is how long it is. It hits right at my natural waist, which is so cool. I just paired it with some mom jeans. Do people call them that? Mom jeans? Just regular blue jeans that are just straight-legged. Yeah, anyway. I paired it with that. And the yarn that I used is Lover by Sorella, and also Knitting for Olive Mohair in the color Peach. This combo, so amazing. Okay, so and it matches my nails. Oh my gosh, so amazing, so beautiful. I got the buttons off of Amazon. I just looked up some buttons and I wanted something cutesy and pearly, and I got exactly that. Okay, so this was so beautiful. This yarn, let me tell you, I bought this yarn when I was still crocheting, so I got like 6 skeins, and so did Kahila. Kahila got like 6 skeins, so we had total of 12 skeins of Lover yarn. Okay, and I used it for this project. I used it for my finished project that you'll see. I used the leftover yarns from it. Kahila used it for a beanie and also for a toasted tee. So we got four projects out of this yarn, and we have finally used up all of it. Okay, here is what is left of that yarn. Finally, after what, 2 years? It feels so good to just use up what you have in stash, honestly, especially if it's been sitting there for a while. So good. But yeah, I decided to wear this. I just feel so in the mood to wear all of my knits, and I'm just so excited for that because I usually don't wear my knits. All right, a lot of you guys know I knit just because. That's it. I don't knit to have a wardrobe. I knit because I like the fact that I can make things, and I just happen to be able to make a wardrobe out of it. Now I'm more intentional with my knitting, I think, because now I actually want to wear my stuff. And even the things that I made and I didn't care to like wear them, I'm gonna wear them just because like, ooh, I made it. All right, anyway, my only finished object for this video, for this podcast, is this sweater right here. Okay, it is the marble sweater by PetiteKnit. I have not taken pictures in it. Okay, it's about to be summer. I'm not about to put on a chunky sweater right now. Okay, I don't feel like it. So maybe I'll take pictures in it later in a year. Who knows? Maybe I'll suck it up and actually just put it on. But look at how different it looks. Same base yarn. No, this base yarn is actually, let me talk more about this. This is the marble sweater by PetiteKnit. Look at how nicely it blocked out. It literally took 24 hours to dry. I thought it would take longer because it's so chunky, you know? I used 10mm needles on this sweater. I think I made the sleeves I think I made the ribbing a little longer than intended, but it's fine. I used Drop Snow as the chunky yarn, and then, bro, this lighting keeps changing and it's crazy, but you know what? Fine. I used Drop Snow as the main chunky yarn, and then I used 2 strands of Lover by Sorella yarn, and I did that to make because in the pattern she uses a thick wool yarn, so the same gauge as the yarn as the Drop Snow that I used, and then she uses a fat mohair, which is a DK weight yarn. So I was like, okay, great, I have the main base yarn, same specs, same everything. I was like, I want to use that Sorella yarn, and I needed at least 300 grams of the fat mohair. I was like, all right, let me weigh this yarn. I had 307 grams of the fingering weight yarn total. So I was like, perfect. Okay, let me experiment. I was in my experiment mode because I was like, okay, if I have the same weight of the yarn and I double strand it, will it still count and like work? It did. All right, it did. You saw how much I had left. It worked, and I was just like, ah! I was so excited. I felt like I unlocked part of my knitting brain. It was amazing. Okay, it was amazing. So that's what I did. I used 3 strands all together, and this is how it turned out. It looks so good. I love a good folded collar. All right, I just do. And this is what it looks like, and that's how it turned out. It is so good. So oversized. So amazing. I am in love. Okay, I am in love with this. Let's toss that on the bed over there. But yeah, so I used up that yarn. Usually I don't use up my hand-dyed yarn scraps or like leftover yarns, because once I use a yarn, I'm kind of over it. Does that sound bad? I don't like my scraps because, like, I feel like I always say this, but my joy for knitting comes from the yarn itself, okay? The process, yes, of course, but the yarn itself is what makes me enjoy knitting. So if I've already used the yarn, I feel like the joy that I got from it, you know, it's kind of already gone, especially if I use it directly after. But using it in a project like this, where it's like, this was a random project anyway, because the drop snow was leftover yarn from Malika. She had 16 balls left, and I used almost 12 of them for this project, which is so perfect. And then I used the rest of that yarn, the lover yarn, and it's just like, oh my gosh, wait, that was actually fun. So now I'm like, no, I still feel the same way about my scraps or my leftover yarns. And we need to do a destash, honestly. Yeah, so we'll just like sell it or give it away, and that's about it. I know that a lot of people like to keep their scraps to make like scrappy sweaters, but when I think about making scrappy sweaters, I'm just like, ugh, no thank you. Not that scrappy sweaters are bad, but I just feel like I want a fresh yarn, and I'm not really into a lot of like scrappy things, because I like a lot of plain things, but I have not been making anything plain. Like, what, the thing that I like to do, I don't do it, because I just have so much fun with other yarns and other, like this and like that. I'm just like, girl, maybe you don't care about plain yarn as much as you say you do. But I guess, whatever, it doesn't matter. Anyway, let's move on to some whips. I have 2 whips and they're both test knits, so let me grab that right quick. This one, yeah, and this one. All right. The first whip I'm going to show you is a test knit. I have been talking about it for a while now. At least I feel like I've been talking about it for a while. But last time I showed you this whip, I only had a piece of the back panel, and it was probably like this big. Now, I have a whole back piece, all right? Back piece and front panels. And I joined in the round. So this is the armhole. This is a big armhole, let me tell you. I was like, yikes! But anyway, this is the Marcu Polo by Creadia Studio. This is so amazing. The yarn is so good. This is what it looks like on me so far. Oh wow, I thought it looked super tiny, but it actually looks really good. Like, it actually fits my body. Well, duh, because I actually checked my gauge and all of that. But like, still, it's just so amazing that this is lace weight yarn, okay? The yarn that I'm using is this one right here. It is Manos del Uruguay, and it is a superwash yarn, lace weight, 800 meters, I believe, per 100 grams. So, you know, tiny, thin, very thin. Let's look at this up close if you can. Here we go. So very, very thin yarn, okay? This is my cake. It was so much bigger than this, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, it's getting smaller. I'm just getting so excited because I'm like, I'm getting so much progress on this test knit. It's not taking forever at all, okay? I thought it would, because I'm like, okay, 2.5 millimeter needles, a t-shirt, like, that's tiny. It is not taking long at all. I got this progress in about a week. So I'm like, wow, this is moving faster than I thought it would. When I was working on this, I wanted to get the collar done at least, before this podcast, but then I was like, girl, why are you rushing? Okay, you don't have to rush. And plus, I needed a little break from it because I did this whole front panel, okay? The whole back, the whole front, joined in around, and that's a lot of knitting on 2.5mm needles because, you know, each row is so tiny. So this took a lot of time, and I was monogamously knitting on this after I had cast on all of my other projects. I was like, okay, let me pick this up, let me knit on it because, you know, it needs to get done. It's a test knit. And so I worked so much on this, and I was just like, okay, I need a break. I need a break. And then, but yeah, so this is what's being done so far. So now literally all I have to do is knit the length of the body, boop, and then the collar and the sleeves. But I am going to do the collar first because I want to take pictures with it looking like a t-shirt, you know, a folded collared t-shirt as it is. Because that's what it is. And I do that with any of my projects that have like the collar coming after the project. After the project is done, and then the collar is like the last part, because then I'm used to top down where you start the collar, blah, 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 and it looks like a finished garment even when you have like the body done. So I kind of want to do that and then go to the body and then go to the sleeves, because I always do sleeves last. Whenever I do the sleeves, I feel like it's the finale and I get like a surge of motivation, and it just makes me want to finish the project even more, which is the total opposite of how a lot of people feel, because a lot of people are like, when they get to the sleeves, they're just like, oh great, more. I just finished the body and now I have to do the sleeves. So people will do like the sleeves first, then the body. If I do the body last, I'll feel like it's never ending. Okay, so yeah, I like to do the sleeves last, so I'll do the collar and then I'll do the sleeves. But when I was like, oh, okay, I need a break from this, I got an email and Kutovakika was doing a test knit call for the stripe hype dress. Okay, let me put a picture. I'm sure I have been English. I'm sure I have been putting pictures of all the other projects. So thank you, Editing Kalila. I know you hate it, but when I watch other podcasts, I crave pictures so much, and no one does it, okay? No one puts pictures of what they're talking about, and I'm just like, I wish you did, so I'm doing what I wish people does, whatever. Anyway, this is the dress, okay? Can we get a little commotion for the dress? If you know, you know. I love sack dresses. I love a throw it on, shapeless anything, okay? And it's oversized and nice. I wanted to do I could have gone on with that sentence. I wanted to do the test knit for. I wanted to do the stripe hype sweater. This is about to cut off. But I wanted to do the stripe hype sweater, but I didn't get the test knit for that. Kahila did instead. I'll show a picture because it looks amazing, beautiful. And I was just like, I really wanted that. And then she did a tester call for the stripe hype dress. And I was like, I wanted whatever information she needed. And I got it! The deadline is July 3rd. That's in like 2 weeks? 3 weeks? It's not a long test call. It's like a 3-week test call, I believe. Well, is it like a 3-week test call? When did it? It's like, yeah, it's like 3 weeks and some change. So not a very long time. I feel like most test knits are like 8 to 10 weeks or so, maybe. Yeah, so very fast test knitting timeline, deadline, but that's fine. It's a DK weight dress. It is done using 2 strands of fingering or 1 strand of DK and using 7 different colors. Now, I really wanted to do this because first of all, I have not knit anything with stripes at all, okay? Like, not in the way that looks. Second of all, I have so many skeins in my stash that are just single skeins. They're so beautiful. I want to use them. I'm probably not going to knit so many socks to be able to use them up. And I wanted to use stash yarn, okay? Because I feel like a lot of us are on that I need to use up my stash train this year. And I'm very much so on that wavelength. So when I saw that, I was just like, please, please. And I got it, all right? I got the test knit, let me tell you. But also, before I show you the dress, because the deadline is so soon, I'm going to have to take it to Sweden with me, okay? Even though I'm doing a Sweden project, I call it my Sweden project because last year, Alex Kahila and I did the, oh my gosh, what's it called? Oh, it's in my brain. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. It has a leaf motif. It's by Knit. Chunky Dahlia. Oh, thank you. I'll show a picture. We did the Chunky Dahlia sweater together, or we started it in Sweden, and then we finished it obviously after Sweden. I was like, ah, it was so great to have like matching sweaters. So we're gonna do that again, and Malika's actually gonna join us this time. All right, airplane. Malika's actually gonna join us this time, which is even more exciting. So that's the project that I'll mainly be working on in Sweden, but also as I'm getting to Sweden, and like some days I'll just like flip-flop between working on this dress and working on my Lyon sweater, which is the Sweden sweater. And I think I'll make sure I get to a certain part so that we can like all take pictures together. It's gonna be exciting. Anyway, let me show you the dress. Yeah, so I was like, oh my gosh, I get to use some skeins from, why does this look, whatever. Some skeins from my stash. So here it is. This is 4 days, no. Yeah. 4 days of work. Yeah. Here it is. Oh my gosh, this looks so cool. So these are the 7 colors that I'm using. This is a size small. It's oversized, okay? This is size small, and you can already see how much ease this has just by putting it up to me. It is literally at my waist right now. 4 days of work at my waist. So I will definitely 100% be able to finish this by the deadline. This knit is just making me so happy. Like, first of all, I love using multiple strands of yarn together. And I also, like I said, I also get to use my stash. And let me see. This is all hand-dyed yarn. And this is from, I'm not going to say the names, honestly. The names are, okay. I'm lying. I have it all right here. Stop being lazy, Kalila. All right. Here are all my little bands, ball bands, all right? So I'm going to put up a picture. I took a picture of it when it was smaller, so you can see the colors because I don't feel like holding it up. The first color, the green color, is from Red Door Fiber Studio, and it is a classic fingering, 100% superwash merino, 436 yards per 100 grams. The colorway is Insignificant Human. The second color, the white looking grayish color, is also by Red Door Fiber Studio. This is an Akatar yarn, another Akatar yarn, and it is called Thought for a Thought. Same classic fingering base, 100% superwash merino. The next color, which is what? The blue color, is by Teeny Button Studio, and it is her soft sock base. Its fingering weight, 75.25, and 463 yards, or 425 meters per 100 grams. This colorway is called Hunt. This next color, which is the yellowish looking color, another Akatar yarn by Red Door Fiber Studio on her classic fingering base, 100% superwash merino. It is the colorway You're Free. My battery's about to die, but I'm going to keep going. The next colorway, which is the red one, is by the Yarn Addict Co. And it is a one-of-a-kind yarn called Candy Apple. And this is on her full-bodied fingering base. It is 100% superwash merino wool, 438 yards. And the sixth color is another Akatar yarn from Red Door Fiber Studio. And it is on her classic fingering base, 100% superwash merino. Fine is Great is the colorway name. And the last color is by Teeny Button Studio on her soft sock base. It is called Bryce, and it is a 75, battery died. It is on her 75-25 merino nylon base, and that is what all of these colors are. So I am repeating all of them, of course, going 7 by 7, and I am sure that I do not have enough yarn for this entire for this entire dress, but I'll just find some other skeins to complete it. I am not like gonna go crazy over not having enough yarn. I just have like 30 grams less than what's needed, so one of the yarns will just have to be substituted. I'm thinking maybe the blue color, because I have another yarn in the blue color that is kind of similar to this color right here, so maybe that can be the substitute. I don't know. I don't care, because I'm using up my scraps, and no, I'm using up my single hanks, and I am so happy for that. But yeah, so at first I was gonna take my beanie on a trip, because who wants to go on a trip overseas and bring yarn, 7 different balls of yarn, and you have to double strand every single one. You can barely see the yarns, but I am pulling the yarn from the middle and from the side. At first I was gonna wind them into like color change, thank you. At first I was gonna wind them into 50-gram balls and just have 2 balls and pull from them, and I was like, ew, I'm not trying to go on a plane and deal with 14 little balls of yarn. So I made sure I wound it up in a way where it wouldn't get tangled in the middle, because sometimes when I wind up yarn, oh my gosh, that thing gets so tangled pulling from the middle. But I've been pulling from the middle and from the outside at the same time to double strand them, and that's what I've been doing with these yarns. So that is this whip. I feel like I can finish like the body of the dress basically by tomorrow. Okay, that's ambitious. Okay, I can get, I feel like 90% of the body of the dress done tomorrow, which is the day before I leave for Sweden. So yeah, either way, the flight is like almost 10 hours, so I'll just get a bunch of knitting done then, and hopefully I'm feeling well enough to, because last time I was gonna knit and I did not feel good at all. It's just like, ugh. And then I didn't knit. So I want to do a lot of knitting. We're gonna go to our flight, like, we like to go like 3 hours early. Our dad is like, what? Because he would go to his flight like 30 minutes before he's supposed to board, okay? Absolutely not. I like to feel comfortable, not anxious, not anything, so that when I get on, when it's time to board, you know, I feel great and not stressed. So if we get there like 3 hours early, I'll have some time to knit, and I will just continue on this dress. It does have some increases for like, I guess, the waist and the hips and stuff, but it's so easy. It is such an easy knit, and I think if you want to use up a lot of your scraps and a lot of your, well, not scraps, it could be a scrappy project. It's not a scrappy project for me because I'm using full hanks and stuff. That's my stash. But I think if you want to, if you're like me and you have a bunch of just single skeins, then I think, or leftover skeins from like yarns that you've already used in a project, because I always overbuy on purpose for my sweaters, and I always have leftover yarns. So if you have yarns like that, this project will definitely be a great project to work on. And the yarn that's recommended, like the kind of yarn, you can use cotton yarn, like a lot of summery yarns. I'm using wool because I want to be able to wear this year round, and it's superwash merino, so it's not as hot as like non-superwash merino or like other non-merino wools. So either way, I don't care because it can be 90 degrees, I'm wearing it, you know? So that is my other whip. And I'm looking at my notes because I have I have like podcast notes. I have no acquisitions. There are so many planes flying over, bro. Anyway, I have no acquisitions because, like I said, I haven't gotten any yarn. Maybe next podcast I will have my Rainbow Sprinkles yarn, hopefully. And then my testknit yarn, definitely. My yarn from Sweden. Yeah, okay. Now, I'm so excited. Now I'm going to talk about my upcoming / future projects. This is kind of an outline of the projects that I want to do for the rest of the year. I know, that sounds crazy. Well, at least for the next few months, which I feel like there's seven projects, 7 sweaters. So yeah, for the rest of the year, not counting any whips that I currently have, because of course I'll do some projects in between, yada yada, whatever. But these are the main projects that I certainly 100% okay want to do this year. Okay, so we're gonna start with the one that I'm gonna do in Sweden. I'm going to do the Lyon sweater by PetiteKnit with my sisters and Alex, because that is the project that we're like, let's do it together in our matching sweaters. Okay. It is knit in, I think, Sunday double stranded. So it's double stranded fingering, but I want to use double Sunday. And let me show you the yarn that I'm actually going to use. I'm going to buy the yarn in Sweden, but I already know the colors that I want because Malika made a Marseille sweater in the exact colors that I want, except it's going to be the opposite. Look at this Marseille sweater. Beautiful, beautiful, so oversized and nice. I think this is a size medium. Oh, I forgot to say what size I made. For the birch sweater, I made a size 2. For the marble sweater, I made a size small. And this one is a size small. And then my other testknit is a size small. Yes, great. Small, whatever. This is a size medium. I'm going to do my Lyon sweater in a size medium because I want like 12 inches of positive ease, and the sweater only has like 6. Only, I say only as if 6 inches isn't a lot, but I want more. I want more. I just watched The Little Mermaid this week, so I'm like obsessed with the soundtrack. Anyway, these are the colors that I want to use, except I want, you can see the picture of the Lyon sweater here. Yes, I want this light blue to be my main color. Yeah, and I want this to be the stripe color. So it's gonna be the total opposite of this color. It's gonna look so nice. I'm so excited, okay? But yeah, I'm gonna do the size medium in that one because that's what I want to do. I want an oversized striped sweater, so yeah, but these are the colors, and that's gonna be my Sweden project. So I think I will get started on that project, knit a bunch on it, and depending on where I am with my testknit for, like, by the time I get to Sweden, because I'm buying a yarn the day I land in Sweden because we're landing at a good time to go shopping for the yarn. So when I do get the yarn, I'm gonna start on the sweater, blah, blah. Yeah, I'll see how much I get done. Well, even before the trip, I'll see how much I get done, and then I'll determine if I want to start on that sweater immediately or if I want to work on the testknit a little bit more. But I think I'll just like flip-flop. One day work on the testknit, one day work on the Lyon sweater, and on and on and on. Yeah, I like that. So those are the colors. I'm gonna get that in Double Sunday. That is Double Sunday yarn, so I know that's the exact yarn that I can get for this project. The next sweater, that I'm going to do, the next sweater that I'm going to do is the Arctic Light sweater. Bam. This beautiful sweater right here, okay? Bask in it. Bask in its beauty. Okay? Okay. All right? You good? Great. Okay, I'm going to knit the size small. That will be the next sweater that I do after the Lyon sweater. That is what I want to do. But also, I'll be working on a test knit during that time as well. So maybe I will do it after I do that test knit. Yeah, so I have 3 test knits right now. The Marcu Polo, the Stripe Hype dress, and also the Mamba sweater, which I'm going to talk about in my next video. But I haven't started the Mamba sweater yet because I don't have the yarn just yet. It is a sponsored, like the yarn is sponsored. So that's coming in. And so by the time I come back home, the yarn should be here. So I will finish up my dress and then finish up my Marcu Polo. And then I will work on the Lyon sweater while also working on the Mamba sweater at the same time. So the Arctic Light sweater will have to be like a late July project, like into August type of project. Yeah, okay. But the yarn that I plan to use for the sweater is the Pernilla by Filcolana paired with Tilia by Filcolana. And it's going to be this nice, beautiful yellow sweater, which I don't have a yellow sweater. So I'm excited to use this. I think I have enough yarn for it. I'm pretty sure I do. If I don't, I'll just buy more. I don't care if the dye lot is different. I'm not someone who gets up in arms about that. Like, if you can see a line of demarcation from the different dye lots, no you don't. Okay? It's supposed to be like that. So that is what I'm going to be working on later on this year. Of course, plans can change. I can switch up whatever just to... I can say, oh, I want to do an Arctic Light sweater next, and then end up doing something else next. So who knows? Doesn't matter. The next sweater that I want to do, I actually need to look up the measurements of it because I have not. Because this is very spontaneous, all right? Spontaneous plan. Whoa! Nice. Okay, all right, I'm going to do the size small for this, okay? This has 6 inches of positive ease, and if I do the size small, it'll give me around 10 inches of positive ease. So that's great. Yeah, the sweater that I'm talking about is the balloon sweater by PetiteKnit. Let me scooch out the way so the picture can have its little shine. Yeah, right? I have not seen anyone make this at all. To be fair, it is an older pattern, but I haven't seen anyone make it. And Kahila, Chelsea from True Lane, and I are going to do a little cal together, knitting the balloon sweater, probably in July. I'm going to use my Rainbow Sprinkles yarn that I'm going to get from Camellia Fiber Co. Oh my god, I need to look at the yardage of these yarns. I forget how little yarn knitting takes. Why am I still flabbergasted? Okay, I'm gonna need like 1380 yards for the size small, and I got yarn that's like 1700 yards. Okay, so I'm gonna have enough yarn. Nice, beautiful. I'm going to pair the Rainbow Sprinkles. I'm gonna show you the yarn, of course, and I'm gonna pair it with an off-white mohair from Drops, and I'm going to do that because I don't want it to take away from the sprinkles, and I know from my birch sweater that the off-white is just going to neutralize any yellow color, I guess, and it's not going to take away from the actual sprinkles or from, in that case, the tweed that was in that yarn. Yeah, it's not going to take away from it, which is Awesome. So that's what we're gonna do. The balloon sweater. Imagine that yarn as the balloon sweater. Oh, so freaking pretty. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. All right, and it's gonna sate my now obsession with white speckly tweedy yarns, okay? Because whenever I see a white yarn, I'm like, but when I see a white yarn with speckles or tweed, I'm like, ooh, ooh. Yeah, I like that. Right. All right, so the next sweater that I'm going to do this year is going to be the Wishbone sweater by Kutovakika. I want to do the Arctic Light sweater first because the cabling, that ribbed cable that goes throughout the Wishbone sweater is actually in the Arctic Light sweater. So when I do the Arctic Light sweater and I go to the Wishbone sweater, I'm going to be like, oh my gosh, I already know this cable. And it's going to be so easy. So the yarn that I want to use for that, it's a worsted weight sweater. It's used with DK and a mohair, I believe. But I was looking at my stash, of course, and I saw this Cumbria yarn that I got in Sweden last year, which is sold at 60 Ghana Nord, where Alex works. And I was like, I have 4 skeins of this because I wanted to use it for the Ingrid slipover. So I only have 4 skeins. This is a worsted weight yarn. Let me talk about the yarn. So worsted weight yarn, 216 meters or 236 yards. And it is 90% wool and 10% mohair. Okay? Beautiful. So I don't need a mohair because this is already mohaired. Okay? Look at this. Oh, it's so nice and luxurious. All right. And yeah, so I see it's a lustrous blend of Masham wool, merino, and mohair. Beautiful. So Cumbria yarn, right? I have 4 skeins of these, and I was just like, I kind of want to make a sweater out of this now. I don't have a sweater quantity, and this yarn is kind of only sold at 60 Ghana Nord store. Okay, all right. I'm sure it's probably somewhere else in the world, but no, it's kind of not obtainable. I could order it online from 60 Ghana Nord, but since I'm going to Sweden, I'm just going to buy 5 more skeins of this so that I can have 9 skeins total. Should I just buy 6 skeins of this so I can have 10 skeins total? Total, since it'll kind of be even with 10 skeins. Why am I like this? Yeah. I will probably get 5 or 6 more skeins of these. I'll probably get 6 more skeins so I can have 10 skeins total. Let me write this out. Why am I like that? I don't need 10 skeins, but yarn. That's Sweden. There we go. All right. Let me get 6 more skeins. Okay. So that I can have some yarn left over and then I can use it for like a beanie or something, you know? Imagine this as a beanie. This color. I need a gray beanie. So I'm going to get 6 more skeins. All right. I have 4 of them already, like I said. So I'm going to get 6 more when I'm in Sweden at 60 Ghana Nord. Of course, also to support the shop. All right. And also come home with some goodies because I'm not getting that much yarn. I'm literally only getting this sweater quantity and literally the Lyon sweater. And that's it. I don't care to get any other yarns while I'm there. I would need to get more stitch holders, you know, those cords. So I'm just going to get that in Sweden as well. And other than that, I'm good on yarn. That's about it. So I'm going to get this so I can make the Wishbone sweater. And it'll be a nice, beautiful, luxurious sweater that I can just, oh my gosh, I was about to sneeze, that I can look at, because I wanted something big using that yarn. You know, I said this was going to be short, but it's not. Hey, it's not. It's Kahila in her stripe pipe sweater. Yeah, I said this was gonna be a shorter video. It's probably not. Why am I like this? Right. What? Anyway, yeah, so that sweater, I wanted something, like using that yarn, I wanted something big where I can be like, I got this yarn in Sweden from 60 Nord, and look at this. And I wanted it to be like a staple piece using that yarn, right? So I'm gonna get that, and I'm so excited. I just started thinking about having that as a sweater. Bruh. Beautiful. I'm just, every time I talk about my plans, I get like zoomy energy. If you have animals, you know they get the zoomies, especially dogs and cats. They get the zoomies, and it just like zoom. Like I have so much energy and excitement for this. I just feel like zoom, you know, just like running across. Okay, anyway, that's extra. The next sweater, well, it's actually not a sweater. Actually, not a sweater. Okay, it is a blouse, but it's a long sleeve blouse, and it is the Elisabeth blouse by PetiteKnit. When I saw that, I was just like, how dare you? How dare you come out with something that I would literally wear every day? Huh? Okay. Like, she just keeps tempting me with all of her patterns. I have over 100 of her patterns, okay? That's just to tell you how much I love her patterns, all right? And I have not even knit 25 of them, okay? I don't even think I have 25 sweaters in general. I have over 300 patterns in my pattern library, just so you guys know how much of a pattern whore I am. Okay, like, I don't just buy yarn, okay? When I see a pattern, I get it. I snatch it, all right? That's a lot of patterns. So I don't ever have to buy another pattern ever again. And I can still not be able to knit every single pattern for like 10 years, I'd say. Yeah. Anyway. The Elisabeth blouse. I lost my train of thought, but I grabbed it. The Elisabeth blouse. I'm going to knit that using this yarn. Every time I see yarns that I haven't used before, excitement. Okay, this is the Arvetta by Fiorcolana. It is a superwash yarn, 80%, 20%. So 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon. What color is this? The color is 810. Go focus. Here we go. There's the color and dye lot for this, and it is just this beautiful red heathered yarn, and I got this yarn to pair with it. I know they look nothing alike. That's the point. This was supposed to originally be for the first sweater, so I bought it last year for the first sweater, but I do not see myself doing anything that is half fisherman, brioche, or anything this year at all. So I'm gonna use this for the Elisabeth blouse, okay? This is Tin Silk Mohair by Senescon. What is the color? This is the color and the dye lot. I don't even think it matters, but it's just this rusty color, and then you can see this is the Arvetta. This is very much so rusty, and this is like, this isn't even showing up as is. Maybe that's too far away to even see. Anyway, but this is the combination, and I know the mohair is gonna turn this into like a kind of rusty looking sweater, so or blouse, long sleeve blouse, so I'm very excited to knit this up, okay? Ooh! I'm so happy. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy. Hold on. Had like glue. Anyway, I'm so excited. I need a red sweater. I don't have a red sweater like this. The only red sweater that I really knitted, no, I have not knitted a red sweater. I crocheted a red sweater. I'll show you. I used the Knitting for Olive Merino and Knitting for Olive Soft Silk Mohair. It's my own pattern that I just drew up. So good. Will I do it again? Absolutely not. But that's the yarn. It is in stash. So I think almost every single one of these, no, not almost every single one of these. A lot of these I have the yarn for already. Okay. These will probably go into next year, I'm thinking, because of my affinity for bouncing around and doing different projects in between my main projects. The next sweater, number 6, is the Minto sweater by Knitonomy. A lot of these sweaters, I have not seen anyone knit them up. Like anyone in my knitting space, anyone that I watch, that I keep up with, and I'm just like, I want to do it. Okay? I want to do it. I want to like inspire people to knit some things. Like they'll look at it and be like, whoa, I didn't think to knit that. Like I saw it, but I didn't think. And now it looks so good on her. So like, I kind of want to knit it too. And then we just have like a knit along unofficially, and it's just great. Anyway, the Minto sweater. I need water, hold on. Okay. The Minto sweater is a cabled sweater by Knitonomy. And for that sweater, she has like 2 different versions of it, like a regular version, which is a worsted weight, and then a thicker version, which is like Aran bulky. It's not bulky, but it's more leaning Aran. And the first one is more leaning heavy DK worsted. She used Barocco Ultra Alpaca. And so I want to use that exact yarn because I'm not trying to figure out what kind of yarn to use for that, honestly. So I'm going to do the light version, and I'm going to just use 1 strand of the Barocco Ultra Alpaca. And I want to do it in this light purple color. I will show a picture if I have it. I'm pretty sure I have it. I think I screenshotted it. Yeah, I think I screenshotted it. I just yawned, sorry. Yeah, so I want to do that in a light purple sweater because I don't have a purple sweater. And I think it'll be very cute. I just want to knit sweaters in so many different colors that I just don't have. And I'm not someone who has like a palette, like a certain palette. You know, a lot of people have like, they only knit in like tones and shades of like a bluish or like a beige or cream or browns. I don't have that palette. My palette is the literal rainbow, okay? Like anytime I see that I've knit a sweater in a certain color recently, I'm like, okay, what's the total opposite of that? Like if I knit it in green, I'm trying to do red. If I did red, I'm trying to do yellow, you know? Like I want to do total opposite kinds of colors, even though I don't know. Who cares if they're complementary, if what I just said is complementary, but you know, just like, they just don't, it's just the opposite, different, whatever. That's the next sweater that I want to do sometime this year. Now the last sweater that I want to do is the Dornie sweater by Rebecca of the Creabea. Okay, I want to use, I don't know what color I want to do it in. I think it'll be like one of the last textured sweaters, because as you can see, most of these sweaters are textured. The Dornie is a cabled sweater, Minto is a cabled sweater, Wishbone is a ribbed cabled, the Arctic Light is a, oh my gosh, crazy cabled textures, everything. And then of course I have some stockinette in between those. But the Dornie sweater, I know I want to use like a drop Salima and mohair combo. And I think maybe I'll do a pink. I don't have a pink sweater. Like just a plain pink sweater. And I think that'll be super cute. Maybe like a hot pink. I think Malika's making her Lyon sweater and no, she's making her Ingrid sweater in a hot pink. So yeah, maybe I'll do like a hot pink Dornie sweater. But yeah, so I really want, this year, at the beginning of the year, I said I wanted to do a lot of textures, a lot of cables. The main thing I wanted to learn, cables. So I'm going to cable myself out to the point where I'm just like, all right, what's the next skill that I need to learn? Okay, so those are all of the projects that I want to do this year. Of course, I will flip and flop them based on the things that I do. I probably won't start any of them until August, to be honest, based on what I already have on my needles and what I'll be doing in the next, like this month and July and also August. So maybe late August is when I'll really start these things. And when it comes to test knitting, I think besides test knitting for Maria, I'm probably gonna pause on test knitting just so I can get these sweaters that I want myself out and just like focus on them and only them. So the 3 test knits that I have will probably be the last test knits that I have for a while, because I have the t-shirt, the Marcu Polo, and the stripe pipe dress. So those 2, the stripe pipe dress will be finished first because the deadline is much sooner than the Marcu Polo. Then I will finish the Marcu Polo directly after that. So like second week of July, I should be done with the Marcu Polo, because by July 3rd, I'll be done with the dress. So then July 3rd and on into the next week, I will just solely knit on the Marcu Polo. Then after the Marcu Polo, I will probably finish up my Lyon sweater, and then after that I will focus on the test knit, the Mamba sweater for Maria, and that will be the last test knit that I do for probably a few months. Maybe the rest of the year, who knows? Maybe I'm all test knitted out, you know? but also I say that and it probably won't happen because test knitting is so much fun, okay? But I do want to prioritize a lot of my own projects, and if I see that I'm clearing off my needles at a significant rate, faster than I imagine I will, then I'll make room for a test knit, and it will most likely be a Maria test knit, okay? That's all that I have for this video. Let me know what you were knitting on while you're watching. Let me know your plans or some plans that you have for the rest of the year. Let me know if you plan on knitting the stripe pipe sweater or the stripe pipe dress. Are you interested in stripes? I feel like it's a stripy season. I know Marlene from Marlene Knits is doing a cowl. I think it's a cowl. It's like a stripe cowl. So if you are interested in knitting stripes, I suggest you follow her so that you can know when it starts, so that you can knit some stripes with everyone. Okay, I don't think I will make it in time because I am knitting on a striped garment right now, but I don't think it starts. I think by the time I finish my dress, it would have already started. I have my Lyon sweater. Oh my gosh, I can join. Yes, okay, so that will happen. You can watch Marlene's video on it. Follow her on Instagram. You'll see she's doing it with someone else. What's their name? Does it start with an L? I'm sorry. I forgot. I am hungry. I need to eat breakfast. It is 11 a.m. right now. I have been talking for probably almost an hour now, even though I said this video would not be that long. Hopefully it's not that long. Anyway, that's it. Thank you guys for watching. Like I said, like this video, give it a thumbs up, all that blah, 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 blah. And the next video you see from me will probably, no, it will be a vlog from Sweden. I will probably have a few vlogs, maybe 3. I'm thinking maybe 3 vlogs. It could be up to 5 vlogs. Okay? So expect a lot of Sweden content, and then you will see another podcast from me. It will probably be a very long one because I'll have a bunch of finished projects and a bunch of acquisitions to talk about. Well, no, I won't. Honestly, I'm gonna have 2, but I'll probably have a lot of things to talk about in it about my trip. So I'll see you guys in a couple weeks, I guess. Bye.